So, learning in an instant, planning for the client meeting. So, give us 2 things you would need to plan for the client meeting.
Right. This is something you need to take some time on and make sure that you don't do it an hour before the meeting's due and you're rushing out. Plan it into your diary is the first thing that I would do. If you've got a meeting next Wednesday, then I would plan on Monday, 4 till 4:15, planning for that meeting to make sure I've still got a day and a bit just in case something goes wrong. So that's my first point. What else would you plan?
You're not doing 2 then.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
I would make sure it's in the client's calendar as well. So send them a diary invite and attach an agenda. Now,
glad you said that.
Agendas, some people think that it has to be a fancy Word document. It doesn't. It's just in the body of the email where you're agreeing as to what the meeting is going to be about, but also invite agenda points so that you're not going to go out to that meeting and have any nasty surprises where they throw in a question and you hadn't prepared for it. So definitely send that out beforehand, send out the agenda, and when you attend the meeting, print off a few copies of the agenda in case the client hasn't printed off themselves.
Yeah, I think sending that calendar invite really covers the bases with the fact of the timing, because in the old days you would say, okay, meeting at 11, and they'd be expected to be finished by 11:20 if you hadn't said otherwise, but make sure you've got probably an hour.
Confirm the time with the client. It's pointless you blocking out a time and saying, I've got an hour, and the client says, right, you've got 15 minutes, go. You think,
that's happened a lot.
How are we going to fit it all in?
Okay, 2 more planning points then. So for me, making sure that you've got objectives. What are you trying to get out of that meeting, and then planning the questions to get it so that you're actually really prepared, and even having the questions in front of you. I don't mind that on a meeting. To me, someone's coming to me and they've got planned questions and they're looking at those and making notes. Brilliant.
Good. So objectives, questions. I think get any sort of marketing material that you want to take out, any case studies, depending on the type of meeting you're going to have. You might want to take out some profiles of candidates, particularly if they've already given you an idea as to types of roles, so you can test to see whether you're actually on track.
Yeah, and that can be really powerful in a meeting. If you've got maybe 5 CVs, at the end of the meeting, actually looking at those CVs and saying, well, now we've had this discussion, that and that, definitely not, and taking them away, that takeaway close. They're now interested, really interested in the 3 that are left.
Good. Technology. If you're going to be taking out a laptop with you and you've got this wonderful PowerPoint presentation with hyperlinks, practice with it beforehand. Don't talk to your screen. This is proper FaceTime with the client. What they don't want is to see you constantly looking at your PowerPoint and clicking. And I would sit in reception, open it up beforehand, just to make sure that I'm not faffing around in the client meeting, doing my password, forgetting my password.
Ready to go.
And then a screensaver pops up of something that perhaps shouldn't be seen in a client meeting, or there's a document of another client that I'm pitching to, there's a competitor of theirs. So just be aware. And if the client doesn't want technology, then don't use it.
Yeah. No, good one. And make sure you've got battery power.
Yes.
Because you can be all planned and then the battery goes.
And what about somebody coming with you then?
Yes, we actually had this on our Twitter account, someone asking about taking a newbie, taking someone else along, and the issue of the fact that they just sit there and don't say anything, and it can be really awkward. So plan what your role is. When the 2 of you are going, and it's best practice for 2 people to go on a meeting, plan who's going to do what, and make sure that you've actually got like a get out clause, safe word as it were. So if someone dries up and they're like, I'm stuck, then they can say something. And to me, I usually just throw it to the other person and say,
have you got any ideas?
You've taken some notes. Have you got any questions that you would like to ask? Please have at least one ready. So agree what that's going to be beforehand, so they don't sit there and go, I don't think so.
Because when you do a double hander like this, it's good to decide the paths beforehand. One of you might be better at the negotiation and discussing your terms. The other one might be better at talking about the market and the nuances and the specializations. One of you might be better at actually pitching the company or talking about the case studies that you might have. But you really want to make sure that the person that you're taking with you has an opportunity to introduce themselves. You don't say, oh, this is Angela, she's going to be sat in the corner, she's not going to be saying anything, but she's going to be making notes, okay? And they're sat there like, it's, about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. So, anything else on planning?
So I think one of the other things is plan for the objections. You are likely to get objections from your research, so research another one. If they are using other agencies, if they're recruiting themselves, if they've had problems or concerns, then prepare for those. Make sure that you know, and we've got an objection handling video as well.
Yes, we have. Good. So planning, I know this was slightly longer than the sort of 1 or 2 minutes and learning in an instant, but planning is a crucial part of your client meetings. Meetings.